Hello everyone, I've just come closer today so you can see my neon pink scrunchie, which I'm obsessed with. I actually love neon colors. I love neon art supplies. I think sketching in either a neon pencil or a highlighter is something really cool when you put that down as your first layer and then you add on top of it with either like a fine liner or something like that over the top, and you can still see the neon underneath at the final result. It just looks so sick. So imagine my delight when recently I found this set of 14 neon watercolors by Paul Rubens, and it was on sale, so I bought it, and I cannot wait to paint with these, either just on their own or as underpaintings for drawings, or maybe with some gouache on top. I used to do watercolor a lot, and I haven't picked up watercolors in quite a while actually, since I discovered gouache. So today we are going to fill up an empty palette. I bought some half pans. I've got this palette ready to fill up, so we're going to fill that with these, swatch out all the colors and do some painting, and I cannot wait. I think these are going to be a new favorite. I keep forgetting to introduce myself in the intros. So my name's Sally and I am an Australian mixed media artist, and I'm super excited to unbox these neon watercolors. Like I said in my intro, I love neon art supplies, and in this box of the Paul Rubens paints, you get a little pamphlet of all the colors in the range. I just got the set of the 14 opera neon colors, and it comes with its own swatch card on watercolor paper, so that's really handy to have. And here are our 14 tubes. They're all 5 ml each. So this comes with a little card with all the shade names and space to swatch. So I'm going to use this to swatch on, but when I actually put them, I have a palette here with some empty half pans, and it'll probably fit in here, so I might be able to use it there, but I might do another swatch sheet on watercolor paper just to pop into the palette for when I set this up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up my half pans with each of the shades. This palette, I believe, holds 24, and I've got 14 colors. So I've got some extra pans, and I've got some other watercolors that I might add up to fill in that palette later. So yeah, I'm going to fill up my half pans and then swatch out the colors on this card. And then what I'll do is I'm going to leave this for a day, maybe two, till they harden a little bit, and then we'll make some artwork with all of the shades. So let's go. Our first color is Opera Yellow. Okay, so they have a little foil seal, which we can just pierce by using the other side of the cap. This is such a bright color. That. I don't think the camera's even capturing how neon this is. I cannot wait to paint with this. So here we're swatching the Opera Yellow. It's so incredibly neon. Our next color up is Opera Golden. And yeah, the oranges, reds and pinks in this set are outstanding. I forgot to film the third color, which was Opera Orange Red. And then this one here is Opera Orange. So we've got a really wide variety of really beautiful warm tones here. Then we have Opera Light Red, which is a beautiful sort of pinky, peachy red. Next up is Opera Red, which is a cooler toned red. Stunning Opera Rose, which is a really beautiful deep pink. I just love these colors so much. Then we have Opera Pink, which if you've seen my channel, I am obsessed with Opera Pink. It's my favorite Holbein gouache color. This one is actually Opera Peach, and I had to check that I had the right color because it's not peach at all, it's very pink. Then we get into the stunning purples. So this is Opera Violet, which is just such a beautiful, rich shade. The pigment in these is incredible. One thing to remember with neon colors is they're usually not light fast. This is Opera Purple. And then we have Opera Ultramarine, which is so stunning. Not traditionally like neon, it doesn't look sort of neon. This Opera Blue that I'm swatching now is more like traditional neon blue. And then our lucky last is Opera Green. So it's the next day and these colors dried in the daylight are insane. They're so bright. Let's go look at them in the sunshine and see how different they look. Now to pop these half pans in place in the palette in the order that I swatched them in. So hopefully I remember to do it correctly. I got this palette from my local art supply store and they have it in a few different sizes. I will link it down below. Alrighty, now it's time to paint and I'm so excited. So I did my sketches off camera. I used Unsplash for reference photos. It's a really good royalty-free resource if you're after reference images. I do like using Pinterest, but you'll find things on there that don't have the original artist's permission to be there, and you can get in all kinds of trouble if you end up using those references and trying to sell your work from those. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for reference images online, to look for stock photos or something like Unsplash, which is royalty-free images, and I will link that in the description box below. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to tackle this one as far as the colour went, but I just sort of went with my instincts and decided to give her this beautiful neon pinky orange hair. And like I said before, neon colours generally aren't light fast. There isn't that kind of information about these pigments in this particular set, but just keep your neon artworks either to your sketchbook or scan them and print them if you're intending to sell them, because they will not last forever if they're on the wall. I'm using the ultramarine blue to block in the shadows. The great thing about watercolor is it is transparent, so you'll see how that comes into play later on. I used to do a lot of watercolor work, and I've been working in gouache for the last probably 6 months, I think. So yeah, very different mediums, and it's nice to be back with watercolor again in these beautiful, like, dreamy transparent shades. So I just like to work in light layers, building up the values. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do about the skin tone because we're working with an exclusively neon palette here. But if you watch my last video, I was talking about how you can sort of mute colors if you mix your opposites on the color wheel. So because we have a lot of neutral orangey shades and we've got some blues and purples, I decided to mix the opera golden with some of the purple, the violet, and it just gave me a little bit more of a muted orange shade, which didn't look too out of place as a skin tone. Maybe if we weren't using neon colors for the whole piece, her skin tone might not look correct, but in this piece it definitely works. So we're just building up all those tones, adding in more brightness. Once you've got your base sort of shades down, it's easier to see where to put those pops of color, where to build it up. The great thing about watercolor too is you can lift it. So if you really do make a mistake, you can just add water and you can lift it a bit. So it's like sort of like a semi-erasable medium. And yeah, again, just mixing a few different shades to get some deeper tones for her lashes, and because I don't have a black or a brown or anything like that, so just adding blue, green, orange, and mixing it till I get a shade that I'm happy with. I never know what to talk about in voiceovers, so yeah. Hi. Maybe we'll do a story time one time. But yeah, this is just my process, how I do a painting. They generally start, I mean, it sort of depends on how I feel on the day. Sometimes I pop in super darks to start with this one, because our paints are all of a similar value other than that really dark blue. What was it? The opera purple and the opera ultramarine are the deepest tones in this set. So I really had to use those to create deeper values. And this is me just mixing up a really dark, like the darkest shade that I could, to do her lash line and the pupils. So you'll see all the different colors I add here, popping in a bit of green, and now it turns brown. And you'd never think that we would be able to get like a muted brown tone from all these neon colors. These paints are also not really transparent. Like they are definitely transparent, but they're almost like a semi-opaque pigment. They're just beautiful, really easy to work with. I'm obsessed. You can see on the other side of my sketchbook there, I do have some animal sketches, and I will be painting those also in these neon paints, and I might do a little sneaky midweek video painting those, because I cannot wait to paint animals in neon colours. So I'm just adding in details now. When I went to art school, I majored in painting, but I only ever used oils, and it's just such worlds away from this kind of painting. I still have a bunch of oil paints and canvases, and I don't know, it just seems so hard, and you have to wait so long for them to dry, and I don't know, I'm just like really been loving watercolour and gouache in the last few years. So you can see here that I've mixed like the orange and the blue to create a more desaturated, deeper skin tone for those darker areas. And because the watercolours are transparent, that first initial layer that we put down, that blue for the shadows, it still peeks through, so you get this beautiful dimension, which has been my biggest challenge doing portraits in gouache. Like I cannot get the dimension with those transparent layers that I can with watercolor. So it's been really nice working on this piece and getting back to that. And that hair color, it's just, I want my hair that color, like I want that actual color for my hair. So that's a mixture of the opera orange red and the opera light red. And the camera's not even, like, it is so bright in person. Like the camera's not even doing it justice. It's just so beautiful. So I'm just going in at the end. I've finished with the watercolor, but I'm adding in some of the sharper details with pencil. I've always finished off my portraits this way. I don't know, I just can't get those crispy lines with watercolor that I can with a pencil. So I'll use a pencil to do lashes and clean up any outlines. I also like seeing pencil texture on my work. Like I like seeing brush strokes, I like seeing texture, I like seeing the hand of the artist in a piece. I don't want everything to be blended and perfect and, you know. And it just adds that tiny little bit of a deeper value and just finishes off the piece. Now the white of this piece is the paper, but I am going to add just a tiny little bit of white gouache just on top for the super bright highlights in her eye and on her lip. So this is a Schmincke white gouache. And this is just the finishing touch and it really just adds life to a portrait. So I'm super stoked with how this turned out. I am obsessed with these paints and I can't wait to paint more with them. Like I said, I will be painting those neon animals, so look out for that video. It would be really cool if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video if you liked this video. I was thinking about uploading twice a week, but I don't want to put so much pressure on myself because I'm quite new at this. So yeah, I might just sneak in a second video every now and then. I think I didn't need to do the white highlights in the hair. I don't know why I did that. But I did that. But yeah, let me know if anyone can give me this exact hair color because I am obsessed. And this is it. I love it. I hope you like it too. These paints were really just so great to work with. Can recommend. I will leave a link in the description box as to where you can get your own. See you next time.